What if I told you that President Trump's recent nuclear deregulation could actually hurt the industry it's trying to save? You heard that right. While conventional wisdom says cutting red tape unleashes innovation, there's a counterintuitive logical case that the nuclear industry might actually need more targeted regulation to succeed. This is Logic Lens, where we challenge how you think. The conventional wisdom is straightforward. Regulations strangle innovation and add costs. We've all heard it. The nuclear industry can't flourish because excess red tape makes building new reactors prohibitively expensive and time consuming. Cut the regulations, unleash innovation, solve our energy problems. It's a compelling narrative that appeals to our business instincts. But what if we've been approaching this completely backwards? The counterintuitive logical perspective is that specific types of smart regulation actually create the stability, public trust, and standardization that the nuclear industry desperately needs to thrive. Without these elements, the industry faces perpetual uncertainty that scares away investment. Let me break down the logical reasoning. First premise: nuclear energy's primary market obstacle isn't technical capability, but public perception and investor confidence. Second premise: regulatory consistency creates predictable environments that reduce investor risk. Third premise: public trust in nuclear safety depends on perceived rigorous oversight. Conclusion: therefore, targeted, modernized regulation could actually accelerate nuclear adoption more effectively than deregulation. The conventional view makes a critical logical error. It conflates all regulation as equally burdensome rather than distinguishing between outdated rules and necessary oversight that builds public confidence. It's a category error that treats regulatory burden as a simple quantity rather than a qualitative issue with different impacts. When we apply our logic X-ray to this reasoning, we see that the conventional view follows a direct causal chain: less regulation, lower costs, more nuclear plants. But this oversimplifies the complex network of factors affecting nuclear development. The contrarian view recognizes multiple causal pathways: smart regulation, public confidence, plus investor certainty, sustainable industry growth. Consider this. France, often cited as a nuclear success story, doesn't have less regulation, it has more standardized, consistent regulation. French nuclear plants follow a uniform design with predictable approval processes. It's not the quantity of regulation that matters, but its quality and consistency. Now, let's address the obvious counterargument. But specific regulations demonstrably add costs and delays. Yes, they do. I'm not arguing that every current regulation is perfect. The hot take isn't that all regulation is good, but that strategically designed regulatory frameworks create the certainty and trust necessary for the massive long-term investments nuclear requires. Short-term cost reduction doesn't automatically translate to long-term industry health. The real-world implications are significant. Investor behavior shows they avoid unpredictable environments. A nuclear industry subject to regulatory whiplash, stringent rules under one administration, gutted under another, creates exactly the kind of uncertainty that scares away capital. What if instead of fighting over more versus less regulation, we focused on better, more consistent regulation? What does this mean for you? It means questioning the binary framing of regulation debates across all industries. It means recognizing how public trust and regulatory certainty factor into complex market decisions. And it means understanding that sometimes counterintuitive approaches yield better results than following our immediate instincts about cutting red tape. If you agree or disagree with this perspective, I want to hear your reasoning in the comments. The best arguments might be featured in next week's video. If this made you think differently for even a moment, smash that like button to help more people question their assumptions. And if you enjoy having your thinking challenged and seeing issues from new angles, hit that subscribe button right now and join our community of critical thinkers. Tomorrow on Logic Face Off, we'll be comparing two major arguments about nuclear safety versus innovation trade-offs. You won't want to miss it. This is Host One from Logic Lens, challenging how you think about the world.